It's late, the garage is empty, you're sitting alone inside Trackhouse Racing's headquarters, and on the desk in front of you are two folders. One has a name that already has race wins, international fanfare, and a growing reputation as one of NASCAR's most complete drivers. The other has a name that hasn't fully delivered yet, but every single manufacturer executive, sponsor boardroom, and rival team owner in America believes it might be worth more than anything sitting in your garage right now. You have to choose. And no matter what you decide, someone is going to call it the biggest mistake in Trackhouse history. This decision hasn't been made yet, but the clock is ticking, and what happens next could reshape NASCAR's entire 2027 season. Trackhouse Racing is no longer just a rising team. It is one of Chevrolet's most important organizations, built on bold bets that traditional NASCAR owners were afraid to take. Right now, inside that organization, something is quietly building. Not a scandal, not a crash, something far more dangerous in NASCAR, a political war over the future. Two drivers, one future. And the decision that gets made, or doesn't get made, could trigger the biggest silly season domino effect of 2027. But here's where it gets interesting. Trackhouse doesn't just have one elite driver situation. It has three. Before we go any further, we are closing in on 1,500 subscribers on NASCAR Racing Central. If this is your first time here, subscribe right now, hit like, drop a comment, and share this video. Every single one of those actions helps us grow and keeps content like this coming your way. He brought Shane van Gisbergen, a New Zealand-born supercars legend, into NASCAR when the entire American racing establishment was skeptical. And then Chicago 2023 happened. SVG won on debut. The entire NASCAR world stopped. Critics said road course specialist, one-trick international act, can't win on ovals. But SVG spent every season methodically destroying that narrative, improving on intermediates, superspeedways, and short ovals. By 2026, he is no longer an experiment. He is a proven Trackhouse winner. Shane VG97 put it plainly. I don't worry about rumors. My job is simple. Drive the number 97 as fast as possible every weekend. Everything else takes care of itself. Nobody expected SVG to still be here making this much of a case for himself. And then, everything changed. Few rookies in modern NASCAR history have arrived carrying the weight of expectation that Zilisch carried into 2026. Trackhouse didn't just sign him. They fast-tracked him through multiple disciplines, built a long-term development structure around him, and attached Red Bull to selected programs. That last detail matters more than most fans realize. Red Bull doesn't attach its brand to uncertainty. The garage whispers started immediately. Is this the next Jeff Gordon? Is this the guy Trackhouse is actually building toward? Zilisch addressed it directly. I'm focused on learning every lap. The Cup Series is tough, but I'm here for the long run, and I'm excited about what we're building at Trackhouse. But then the races started, and the 2026 season delivered something nobody in that boardroom had planned for. Through 16 races, Zilisch sits 34th out of 35 full-time drivers in points. The only driver behind him is Cody Ware, a name that barely registers on the competitive radar. At Michigan International Speedway, his season hit what fan-sided described as rock bottom, 2 spins in the first 10 laps. His day ended there. His third consecutive last-place finish. Social media didn't hold back. The takes were immediate, brutal, and loud. But here's where the story gets more complicated than the headlines suggest. At Coda and Watkins Glen, the road courses where everyone expected Zilisch to immediately contend, he had genuine top 5 speed. At Coda, he was spun out twice. At Watkins Glen, a flat tire buried him to 20th. The week before Michigan, a brake rotor explosion ended his race while he was actually charging through the field. The week before that, Austin Cindric lost control and took him out. And then, the detail most people missed, he ran a clean 5th-place finish in the All-Star race. So is Zilisch a bust, or is the 2026 season lying to everyone watching? Here is the fact that changes this entire conversation. Ryan McCafferty of Fansided wrote what might be the most important sentence in this entire debate. Zilisch is running extremely similarly to how teammate Shane van Gisbergen ran the first half of last year. SVG2 was bringing out cautions regularly. SVG2 was hovering near the bottom of the points standings. And look at him now. This is no longer a simple comparison. This is Trackhouse watching its own blueprint play out in front of them and being forced to decide whether they trust the process they already used once. But here's where it gets interesting, because this isn't actually a driver versus driver story. It never was. What fans watch on Sundays and what executives argue about on Mondays are two completely different conversations. Garage insiders stated it plainly. The real story isn't driver versus driver. It's sponsors, manufacturer priorities, and available charters. That's where future decisions are usually made. SVG's value is clear: international fan base, proven road course dominance, and consistent oval improvement that erases his last remaining weakness. Zilisch's value is equally real: Red Bull involvement, long-term commercial shelf life, and the kind of young talent that becomes available once in a generation. Pit Road Buzz noted, the biggest winner in this story might be Chevrolet. Whether it's SVG or Zilisch, they've got elite talent under the same umbrella. But Chevrolet cannot hold both forever. The Hendrick Motorsports whisper is persistent, unconfirmed, and it will not go away. Every conversation linking Zilisch to HMS is another reminder that Trackhouse does not operate in a vacuum. Trackhouse fans ask the question everyone keeps raising: why not expand to another charter instead of choosing? That's the question everyone in the garage keeps asking. Logical on the surface. If Trackhouse acquires a third charter, the decision disappears. Both drivers stay. Both futures are protected. But the charter market in 2026 is not a buyer's market. Charters are expensive, increasingly rare, and politically complicated inside NASCAR's ownership structure. And critically, Ross Chastain is already the third driver in that equation, currently sitting behind Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in points. The escape valve exists in theory. In practice, it may already be closed. Jeff Gluck framed what both paths actually mean. The Trackhouse storyline is fascinating because it isn't just about speed. It's about balancing immediate results with long-term investment. That's what makes this worth watching." End quote. If Trackhouse commits to SVG long-term, Zilisch's future becomes the hottest story in the entire NASCAR garage overnight. Race fan Mike put it directly: "You keep the proven winner. SVG has earned it. Championships aren't won with potential, they're won with results." If Trackhouse commits to Zilisch long-term, one of NASCAR's most successful international stories gets written out. Chevy Nation 24 countered, "Connor is only 19. People forget how many future champions struggled as rookies. Patience is part of developing elite talent." Justin Marks TH released a statement: "Building Trackhouse has always been about winning today while preparing for tomorrow. Having drivers like Ross, Shane, and Connor creates great competition inside the team. That's exactly where we want to be." That statement is carefully constructed. It mentions all three drivers equally. It commits to nothing. Bob Pockrass confirmed no official indication has been made that Trackhouse has chosen between Shane Van Gisbergen and Connor Zilisch for 2027. Current discussion is largely speculation, based on performance trends and future planning. NASCAR critic added, "Calling this a leak is premature. There's plenty of speculation, but no confirmed evidence that Trackhouse has made a final 2027 decision. In NASCAR, when organizations have easy answers, they announce them. When they go quiet, the teardown laid out the stakes precisely. If Trackhouse ever has to make a choice, it could trigger one of the biggest driver market domino effects of the 2027 silly season. Zilisch available means the Hendrick conversation accelerates, which shifts HMS's current lineup, which repositions mid-tier teams across the board. SVG available raises an immediate question: which manufacturer steps in? Because Chevrolet would not let him walk to Toyota quietly. Oval Racing fan captured it well. Imagine having to choose between a road course superstar and one of the biggest young prospects in NASCAR. That's a luxury most teams would love to have. It is a luxury, and it is also a trap, because luxury decisions with no clean answers have ended championship windows before. Ross Chastain put it simply: internal competition makes everyone faster. Three talented drivers pushing each other is a good problem for any race team to have. Maybe he's right. Or maybe he's been in NASCAR long enough to know that eventually every good problem becomes a real one. If you were Justin Marks, right now with everything you know, which future do you protect? Shane Van Gisbergen's proven results, or Connor Zilisch's generational potential? This is one of those decisions that defines organizations for a decade. Drop your answer in the comments and tell us which side you're on. Share this video with every NASCAR fan you know, because this storyline is only getting bigger from here. If you enjoy real NASCAR breakdowns like this, you'll like what's coming next.